Hello and welcome here to TalkFCB and welcome back to the channel here today, guys, where we are going to have full reaction to Barca's Champions League win over Slavia Prague by 4-2. Now, we're going to be talking about the game in two different ways. On the one hand, there are a few concerns in my mind right now that we're going to talk about, but there is one thing especially that I want to talk to you about on the positive side. But coming up today as well, we do have some negative injury news with regards to Pedri. We're going to be discussing his absence and how that will affect the team in the coming games. It is all on the way. So come on, and let's do this. Because indeed, guys, in terms of last night's performance from Barca, I think the first thing that we have to say is we got the win. At the end of the day right now, at the latter stages here of the Champions League phase, this is what you need to do. Get the points on the board, get up as far as you possibly can. We're going to be talking about the table in just a moment's time. But yeah, I thought Barca ultimately did what they needed to do. Now, would you say that it was a convincing win from Barca? Would you say again that it was a really good Champions League performance in terms of the overall quality of the team? Now again, I'm not so sure. I think there have been a lot of performances like this, particularly away from home. There have been quite a few in the Champions League as well this season, whereby Barca, they've done okay, they've done what's needed, but it's not spectacular right now. It is not the most convincing team. They are not blowing teams away. Now, I would look at the 2 goals that we conceded, and a lot of people do sort of excuse goals that are conceded by set pieces. We'll hear, we did concede 2 against Slavia Prague, but they were both from corners, as though that makes it okay. That's not okay, particularly in the modern day, in the modern game. What we are seeing in modern day football is set pieces are genuinely taking over. They really, really are. Look at Arsenal, one of the form teams in the world right now. They score a huge amount of goals from corners, from set-piece situations. So if you're a team that regularly concede from those kinds of scenarios, that is going to hurt you. So Barca here, we can't excuse goals that we concede from corners. They are still goals conceded, and they were still goals last night that very nearly put us in trouble.
I said before the match yesterday also, I said it will be a tough match because it's they prepare, I think 5 weeks or 3 weeks. They have time to prepare to play against us, and they made it really good. Slavia is a team, a physical team with a lot of dynamic, a lot of tall players, and we saw it in the set pieces. I think it was not easy to defend this, and but at the end, I'm happy that we came back, and the team played really good, and I also think at the end we deserved 3 points.
However, and this is also very, very important, there were lots of positives as well. Looking at yesterday's game, looking at the 4 goals that we did score, because that's what you always get from a Hansi Flick team. Yeah, we may have conceded 2, but we're going to respond. We're going to score more. We are going to do better in the final third. And we scored some amazing goals. Can we talk first of all about Fermin Lopez? This man, he just continues to wow me. The positions that he takes up, 2 very, very different goals. You look at his first goal there, he makes a run from deep, he gets into the penalty area, it's a tight angle. Yeah, the goalkeeper should do a bit better, but it's a really, really good quality goal. Frankie de Jong played well as well, I thought. Good ball in there for that opening goal, but Fermin gets into the box, gets his goal, and then the second one, though, is on the edge of the box, played in by Pedri. He gets a little bit of time and space. That is all that he needs in that area, just outside of the box, gets it out of his feet. That is a wonderful finish into the bottom corner. And what still staggers me is the club genuinely thought about selling this man. Back in the summer, Chelsea were sort of flirting with him. They were skirting around Fermin. We thought about it. We genuinely did. I think if there was real money on the table, if there was a really big bid, the club would have been thinking about selling Fermin. The only person that wasn't, along with us fans, was Hansi Flick. He has always had tremendous faith in him. He's always been a big part of his plans. And you can see why. Every game this season that he is involved, he's got that ability to make something happen. He has the ability to score goals from midfield. That is priceless. And it continues to really help us in games like this.
Of course, but it is our player. And we can decide if he has to go or not to go, or he can go or not to go. So, and it was important that he stays here. I think also for him, because he's a player from Barcelona. I think he's living for Barca, and I appreciate a lot what I saw today.
But But here's the thing, guys, and this is what kind of excites me right now, gives me some hope, moving forward in the season, looking at the upcoming games. My question to you is, could we finally be about to see both Fermin and Dani Olmo performing well at the same time? We haven't seen it at Barca. What a goal yesterday Dani Olmo scored. Absolute rocket off his right foot there into the top corner. That is what we need. We would absolutely love to see Fermin and Olmo at the peak of their powers, looking confident, maybe even playing together. You could find a way to fit the two in at the same time. Because if we could get them both firing together, that is a different animal. To have those two players, and they're different types of players as well. I do believe that they can complement each other. They do operate there in different areas of the field. They're very, very different profiles. But if they can work, if we can really get both of these contributing, that would be massive for the team. That would take a lot of pressure off the number 9. It would take pressure in terms of goals there off the wider areas of this team. You've got Olmo, you've got Fermin. Both of them have quality. Both of them can score goals. We saw that last night. We're starting to see it more frequently now. And that's what excites me most there. If you can unlock the two of them, if you can keep them both fit, if you can keep them both available. We don't want one doing well while one's out of the team. We don't want one then to be injured while one's coming back. You want the two together. You want them both to be playing well. And please can we see that now?
Dani comes in and directly he scored the goal and was very important. Also, Marcus Rashford, I think he played good and delivered the pass to Levy in the 4th goal, and also Ronald and Marc Bernal directly. And this is really good. This is good to see this. It's good that everyone is directly on the pitch and help the team. And this is good to see that.
But indeed, guys, in terms of exactly what that victory last night did for Barca in terms of the league phase table, well, this is where we stand. There are so many teams right now in the Champions League, but yeah, we are in 9th place. We are just outside of those automatic places there that go on straight away to the round of 16 stage. That's where we want to be. And to be honest, one of the main reasons we want to be there is to avoid 2 extra playoff matches. Now, we are only just outside, simply based on goal difference right now. We've got teams ahead of us. There's also teams in behind us too that are going to be causing problems. We play Copenhagen at home in the final game there. So you would hope that we could get 3 points on the board. It's not completely in our own hands there. We may need to win that game, who knows, by plenty of goals. That's why maybe the 2 goals that we conceded last night, they were cheap. They weren't really helpful for our ambitions. But that top 8 dream, it's still alive for Barca. It is still very much possible ahead of the final game. We did just about what we needed to do in Prague.
At the end, it's like, I think also it will be not an easy game because Pedri maybe is out. I don't know what about Ferran, if he's coming back. Of course, Lamine is coming back. But I think Frankie is also booked, so we will see a new midfield, but at the end it's like that. We have to manage it, and we have the chance. We have the chance to reach this first 8, and this is a goal from us. And we didn't start well in this Champions League, so but at the end we have the chance. Still have the chance to reach the 8, and this is what we want. What we want, because then we have 2 matches, 2 games less. And I think also helps us a little bit to recover. But at the end, it's like it is. When we have to play 2 matches more, then we play, no problem.
However, guys, as much as we all were very, very happy with the win, last night was pretty satisfying in plenty of ways, but the one big problem, and the one thing that really put a dampener on all of that, it was what we saw there from Pedri, who did have to head off after just 1 hour of the game there, and it didn't look too good, did it? He hobbled off the field, a muscle problem, very, very clear. He does have a hamstring injury, and of course we know that Pedri in the past, he suffered with a lot of muscle problems. You don't want him to go back down that route now, struggling with these kinds of injuries. Now, to be honest, things seemed a lot more bleak at first. We were hearing rumours in the media about maybe 3 months out injured. That would have been catastrophic to our season, in my opinion. If Pedri's ruled out for a number of months here, it would have been a nightmare. Now, in the end, it's still not ideal, but it's a lot better. Pedri is going to miss, confirmed by the club, 1 month of action right now. And what I would actually say here, looking at the fixtures that we do have to come at the end of this month, and also they're looking onwards into February, would you say here that although Pedri's going to miss, as it stands, 7 games, they're not too bad? You know, obviously you don't want to underestimate opponents, in any game without Pedri, it's not ideal, but if you had to pick games, they'd probably look like this. You know, you've got Oviedo at home at the weekend, you've got that Copenhagen game, you've got Elche, Mallorca, Girona, Levante. These are all teams, to be fair, right down the bottom of the La Liga table, and teams that maybe shouldn't really be hurting Barca. So I would say right there, we got away with one. It could have been a lot worse. And don't forget as well, in February, that's when the Champions League playoff stages will get underway. Now, hopefully we're not there, because then Pedri would indeed be back for the round of 16 in March if we can finish in that top 8 and get straight through and avoid a real fixture pile-up in February. So that's the aim right now, guys. That is the ambition, certainly from the side of Barca. But yeah, what did you make of last night's performance? You know, who impressed you out there? What did you make of those goals from Fermin? The 2 of them from him. Lewandowski got one, of course, as well. And that rocket of a strike, top corner from Dani Olmo. Please do let me know, guys, all of your thoughts in the comments down below. I'll be back with you soon, of course, as we build up to another important weekend here at Barca. I hope that you're all doing well and still with a smile after that win last night. Thank you indeed, though, for watching and for all of your support. But until next time, as always, Vejka, El Barça.